What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 92 of the Offshore Gamescast. I'm Dylan.
I'm Lyle.
As you can see, or hear, Dave is not here today.
He was taken by the internet demons once again.
That the internet demons just don't want the three of us to come together ever again.
It's been a minute.
It has. It's probably been like a month at this point since all three of us have been on an
Yeah.
episode together.
Yeah, we need to get that in order.
Yeah.
Just life gets in the way sometimes.
Yeah, it does. And we live on opposite ends of the world, which makes the time thing.
It does not help.
No. All right, today you'll be talking about Dredge.
Dredge.
Wow, ominous, a little
Yeah.
spooky.
Horror vibes.
Is it? Is it a horror game? We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Next week, I will be talking about Crime Boss Rocket City, May 2nd.
For which I am so excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It hasn't been reviewed very well across the board, so
I didn't expect it to. So
we're gonna
why
see
I'm
what
so
happens
excited.
next week. May 2nd, Dave will be bringing Dead Island 2. We'll see how that one holds up, considering it's been like a billion years since that game was first announced.
And it probably had like as many different developers.
Yeah, it's interesting. And then May 9th, you're bringing Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, may the 4th be with you and all of that. It's not on the 4th, but you know.
Is it coming out on the 4th? No.
No. It's
it'll be.
I don't remember. 28th of April, I think.
Ah,
One of the few AAA games you will see me review here.
you know, I know that like for whatever reason Tuesdays and Fridays are the game days, but there's 6 days off from May 4th. They shoulda. It's right there.
I would imagine that Lucasfilm might have something against that date. I don't think it would be DICE that said it, I guess.
We're gonna have to have a little chat with this George Lucas guy then.
I think it's Kathleen Kennedy at this point. I don't
Oh.
think George Lucas is involved with it
Oh
anymore.
yeah, he has. I don't think he's been involved in a long time, right?
Yep.
I'm up to date on Star Wars. All right. Also, go check out. I did a Road 96 Mile Zero review, the prequel to Road 96. That is a very different game because it's also a rhythm game now.
Which is up your alley.
It is up my alley. So that is up on our YouTube channel. Go check that out. And
then-
Lyle, what is this? What is the Wreck?
The Wreck is a visual novel set in our time, very emotional, very trauma heavy. If that is something you are interested in, go check out my review on my channel, Lyle's Indie Corner. I really, really loved it. I know it's not for everyone, but it's a really good story.
When I hear the Wreck, that's not the type of game I think.
It revolves around a car crash. That's why it's called The Wreck.
Okay, that does make sense, but my brain still went to like Monster Jam.
No, very much not.
All right. And one last thing before we get into this, please, wherever you are watching us, whether it's video on YouTube or you're listening to on any podcast provider, please leave us a review or subscribe or a comment, anything like that. If you are listening, it is a big help to us. It helps push us out there. It's something that gets content moving in the algorithm, so we appreciate it.
Yeah. Also, if you are on YouTube, just let us know what your favorite fishing minigame is. I would be very interested to know.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that briefly
Later.
on. But yeah, there's a lot of fishing mini games.
There are. I know I have my favorite. We'll get into it later.
All right.
Let's get started on Dredge, which is one of the breakout indie titles of this year. I think that's fair to say. 200,000 copies sold in 2 weeks. That's not
Damn.
bad.
That is not bad.
For a studio composed of like 4 people, I think.
That's not bad at all. I'm sure they're quite happy with it.
Yep. It was developed by Black Salt Games, the aforementioned 4 people, and published by Team 17, which is a great indie publisher that I have played a few games of now. They do great stuff, and I'm glad they push out these little titles. It was released on March 30th of 2023 for Nintendo Switch, PC, Mac, and Linux. Oh god, PlayStations 4 and 5, Xbox One, Series X, and S. And now, Dylan, get ready.
I'm ready.
It's an eldritch horror fishing game.
Huh? Like you're out there catching Cthulhu?
Kind of.
Kind of. Okay. Interesting. I mean, I was gonna say, with a name like Dredge, when I hear Dredge, I'm thinking like thick, like black gunk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like that's like you're like getting caught in, and like
it's not a bad association. So, yeah, you play an amnesiac fisherman.
Oh wow.
Who gets stranded on an island, and then he needs to go fishing to make some money. And at one point, he also meets the collector, and he needs to get some relics for this guy. And it's all very mysterious.
Has there ever been someone named the collector that's not doing shady shit?
I don't think so, but I mean, it fits the game.
Yeah.
It is very much a horror game.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear like how scary and spooky it gets.
Yeah, I will tell you, because the art style very much plays into that. At first, it's very calm. You have very understated colors, a lot of very dull gray and brown, but blue, and then for contrast you also have reds and yellows. It looks kind of inviting. So you have this like beautiful island scenery, and in the daytime it's all very nice. Like you might want to go on vacation or something here.
Do you come across a city?
No, it's all islands with like little villages on them. And you
so
have
it's not
like
a daytime city game, it's a daytime island game.
It's also not a daylight game at all.
When it's daytime, it's like overcast. It's all cloudy.
No, you have your nice sunny days, but there's also a lot of night in this game. So it's not all in the daytime.
All right.
You also have rain and different weather and all of that stuff. And at first it all looks very, very simple, like art style wise, animations wise. But when you get a bit deeper into it, I think the animations are really great. They are super smooth. Especially like your little boat on the ocean. It steers so well with like the waves you are going into, and you really like feel the impact of the waves, and it sways you a little bit. I really liked it. It does have a little bit of drift, so going around cliffs can be tricky. You also have like hull points and stuff, so you have to pay attention not to crash your little ship or get
Did you
eaten.
say hell points?
Hull.
Oh.
Not hell.
Okay. I was going to say, we're jumping right into it.
Hull. I'm sorry.
It is. I understand now.
Yeah. You also have the map is open world, so you can go anywhere right from the beginning. It has 5 distinct regions. So the first you're in is called Greater Marrow. That's the little island you're on. And that's very quaint and like any seaside village type you would imagine. But then you also have a swamp area and one with a volcano and a really cool coral one.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. That was my favorite. That was real pretty.
Yeah, that sounds...
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because it's you're on a boat, but...
Yeah. And
that's not the typical one.
You're also only on a boat, so you only ever steer the boat. You don't get off it or anything. You're just a little tiny boat.
What's it like when you like come up to an island then, and you're like on the island?
You're on the island. You can speak with different people, with NPCs that live on the island. So you click on their portraits and stuff, and you also have like you have your fishmonger where you sell your fish, and you can upgrade your ship with like your ship hand and stuff. So that's all through integrated menus.
Okay, that
Mhm.
makes sense.
So you don't get off and run around on an island. You're always on the boat.
Maybe it's
You
safer
are the
that way.
boat. What?
Maybe it's safer that way.
It probably is in this world. It definitely is in this world. Because these characters, none of them look particularly trustworthy.
Hmm.
And that goes for all the art in the game. Since it is a horror game, all of these characters, they all have this like haunted look on their face. I don't know how else to describe it. It's you see them and you're immediately uncomfortable. It's just
people that haven't slept for 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly like that. They all have like very bold black strokes somewhere in their portrait, even though they all have a lot of color too. But they do look very sketchy.
What type of side businesses are they running on these islands?
Some uh, will will buy gold that you find. Some will just eat very weird sea creatures that you give them.
I'm picturing Gollum. Like
It's
when he
no,
eats the raw fish, running
not.
like a we buy gold shop.
It's not. I don't know how to describe it. They all look like normal humans. They are not like Gollum with no hair or stuff and smooth skin. They are not fish people. They are normal people, but they just look untrustworthy.
Okay.
You really have to see it to believe it.
So it's like Smeagol.
Yeah, kinda.
All right.
Yeah. That's a good comparison. They just did a really good job in the art to really make you feel like something is going on here. So it's all drenched in this in horror, in eldritch horror specifically, which I like very much. So
I mean, I think that horror games are way better when it's not just like jump scare, predictable jump scare, and it's more creating that atmosphere of just feeling like a little uncomfortable of like
that is why
ugh.
that's why I like this form of horror so much, because eldritch horror, cosmic horror in general, is a lot of that, of making you feel uncomfortable, questioning your own reality,
Yep.
and not necessarily ever giving you answers to them either. So it's always like, I have no idea what's happening, I just know it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I like that a lot, and that's a lot of this game. I mean, of course, with every horror game, if you play them long enough, it kind of loses that sense at one point. You don't get scared as easily, but at
Yeah.
first it's really effective, because all the characters too, they tell you not to go out at night. They tell you don't go out fishing at night, just stay in the daytime. But then, of course, at one point, they also want you to catch fish that will only come out at night. So you have to go on the sea. And that's where it really does a 180 into full horror. Because when you go out at night, you can't see everything. You have your little light on your ship, and it's only illuminating a tiny area around you.
Yeah, it does sound like it's tough to trust people that are like, don't go out at night.
Yeah.
It's not safe. By the way,
Yeah.
can you go catch me some fish at night?
Yep. That is exactly what they do. So you can see a bit farther, but there might be something in your way that you will not be able to see without a light. That's why you always need to have one on your ship. Do not go out into the night without one, I tell you. And
Does it
turn it back on when the game turns it off for you, because the game does that.
How nice.
Yes, very. But yeah, the whole vibe changes from this is like a quaint little town to I think something's gonna come out and eat me now. Which is even more enhanced once you catch your first aberration. So you catch your normal fish. Even those portraits have like this. They all stare at you with like their dead fish eyes and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, and you see their little portraits in your inventory. So, and then at one point you hear this very, very off-key jingle, and you think, what the hell just happened now? And then you see that you have something in your inventory that isn't quite the fish that you thought you were gonna catch. You have caught an aberration, which is a variation of the fish that you were supposed to catch. And that has maybe some extra mouths, some extra eyes. Maybe it's all goopy now. Maybe it has some teeth that shouldn't be there. Yeah, and the fishmonger loves them. He gives you a lot of money for them. So that's nice.
That sounds like something a fishmonger would do.
Yeah, but they also might spread like a black, inky kind of type of mold to your other fish, so you really have to get that off your ship quickly. It's not very pleasant, but it definitely adds to the horror.
So, is this like a hey, here's a catalog of all the fish you can catch, and then they all have this variation, and it's
kind of, yeah.
Almost
you get,
like Pokemon?
Yes, exactly. You kind of get a Pokedex. So you have this book where you can see, okay, these are the fish in this area that I can catch. Once you catch them, the book tells you if it's only if it can only be caught in the daylight, with what fishing rod and that type of stuff.
Interesting.
So you kind of have a Pokedex, and then you will see on the bottom it will say if it has an aberration or not, or maybe even two. Some even have two aberrations.
Okay, I like when they give you like in a Pokédex style type thing, where they give you that like, okay, this is how many variations are. I need a little bit more guidance than just go get them all.
The game definitely.
So I like that.
The game definitely does it, and also you get some quests from people where you need to catch specific fish, and it also gives you hints of how to catch them if you haven't caught them yet, and kind of the area and where you find those too, because there are different ways you can catch fish. You have your fishing rods, you have nets, you have crab pots, so there is some variation there, and if they ask for a specific one, then you need to look at where you can get those. And that book gives you a few hints, and then.
Did you get all of them?
No. I think that's probably an achievement.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah, there are some fish that are very rare all around, and I guess to get the aberrations of those, you will have to spend several days in that fishing spot only catching that one fish until you have an aberration. And I am not cut out for that type of thing.
No, I hear you. That's yeah.
That's the art. There's also maybe possibly some bigger creatures
Cthulhu.
You might get to know. They are very terrifying. Just but the art overall just really enhances like the eldritch horror theme that they are going for, and it does it well.
These bigger creatures, are they like are they still like you're trying to catch a fish and they appear, or it's like you could talk to these things?
No, you cannot talk to these things. You can get
Okay.
eaten by them.
Oh, the fish are fighting back.
Yeah. Yeah. They do, and they are much bigger than your little boat.
Oh no.
Yeah,
how do you-
not
Wait,
it's not
hold on.
it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant to find those.
Can you catch them?
No.
Okay, because I was gonna ask, how do you catch a fish or a creature, I guess, bigger than your boat?
You can't. Those
No.
you cannot catch.
So that's like book it out of there.
Yep.
Okay.
Definitely. 100%. Yeah, what also is really important in a horror game is, in my opinion, is sound design and music. If that works, then it really immerses you into that whole vibe, and this game does that very, very well. The ship sounds, I would say some of them sound a bit artificial. Like when you reel in a fish or something. But the sea itself, that sounds really nice. Like when the waves are crashing against your ship. Also, when the rain comes pattering down and you're on kind of an upset ocean, that was really cool. When the waves are, I'm sorry, when the waves are really big and you get a lot of drift and stuff. That was really fun.
That was the
Stormy
first time
situations.
I've heard an ocean described as upset, but it's
I-
perfect because I knew exactly what it meant.
I don't know the word. I'm not a native speaker.
No, that's perfect. That's one of the best ways I've ever heard.
um yeah, but in the horror elements is really where the sound design comes out. As I said, like that really, really off-key jingle you get every time you catch an aberration. It's so good. It really sends chills down your spine every time. I love that little attention to detail that they really give you an audible indication of something weird has happened.
Yeah, I like that.
And you also have that with every other horror element. You can meet, like as I said, all the bigger creatures that follow you. They all have their unique sounds. Like there is one that there's like a kraken thing
Okay.
that sits in one area, and when that low rumble comes out when he's about to attack you, oh my god, my heart. And the first time I encountered that thing, I was like, what the hell is going on? I don't know what this sound is. And then it went, and yeah, I almost got destroyed. The worst one, though, is the fucking anglerfish. I hate that thing.
The anglerfish?
The anglerfish. Because when you're out at sea at night, sometimes you can see other ships in the distance and they will like sound their foghorn at you. When the anglerfish comes near, you see the light, you hear the foghorn, and then it goes into like really off-key, really, really off-key, and then it just rushes at you and bites at you. I hate that thing. That thing can die in a ditch for all I care. It goes
from friend to foe real quick.
Oh yeah, because I was like the first time that really happened. That happened the first time I was out on the big ocean outside of the like encampment of the island, and I was like, oh look, there's another ship, and
nope.
And then it got really weird, and I was like, oh my god, what's happening? Oh my god, that's an anglerfish.
That sounds like very effective horror, though.
It is very effective horror because there's, as I said, there's always this audible key as well. So it gives you hints that something is happening. You also have like birds sometimes attacking you, like these crows with the red eyes, and they screech really loud. But you also have like normal sounds, like seagulls when you get close to shore, or the villages have their own soundscape, kind of. And every time you're in the daylight, it's normal. And then when it shifts to night,
See,
it's
this
like,
is why I like daytime Dylan games.
yeah, you are right. You are
It's
absolutely right.
safe.
Like for the I mean, I for the longest time didn't play any horror games because I'm really sensitive sometimes with some topics. And then I got really into like cosmic horror. As I said, probably because it's more indirect and it's more up to your imagination.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, this game does have jump scares for sure, but I rarely expected them. They were always effective and not cheap.
Yeah, that's always the big thing, because you can kind of expect almost every horror experience will have some sort of jump scare.
Yeah.
But there are the one, like playing the Callisto Protocol, I was able to just straight up point at like spots like that's a jump scare happening right there, and of course you go up to it, it happens, but then like it's happening, so
Yeah.
you're not actually scared.
And then I think that's a big plus for this game because I think they are randomized. I don't think they are programmed in a way to happen at specific points. So sometimes that happened to me in the swamp area a few times where I was just fishing and then just exploring a bit, and suddenly there was like a floop near your ship, like a drop being pulled down, and you had this vibration in your controller,
Uh-oh.
and I was like, but
Yeah,
nothing
no,
happened.
I'd be like freaking out, like what's
Yeah,
happening?
but then nothing happened. It was just the game.
That's it?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, I actually kind of like I love that. That's
Yeah.
good.
And that just keeps you on your toes at all times.
Sure.
And the sound is and the art is just really helping that vibe get across. And the music definitely as well, because there you have your like normal sailor tunes with the accordion, with the accordion, and your calm little island music, but then you always have variations of those where it goes into like a mysterious vibe suddenly, or you hear a tune that you've heard before and then it goes it goes into like also off key, but it's just slightly different, and then suddenly it's creepy.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. An accordion type instrument is very good for
Yeah,
that
exactly.
transition into creepiness.
Yep, it is. It very much is. And the main theme of the game, which I didn't really realize until I had played the game and then listened to the soundtrack again. It has like this very profound sadness to it that I couldn't really place at first, and then when you play the game and you get to the ending and you're like, oh, that's why that is the way it is. And you also have one variation of that main theme that plays at a very specific point. And now that I know the connection between those two scenes, it's so good. It's so good that you can carry so much storytelling in the music. I don't want to spoil it for people, and I don't
Sure,
want to
yeah.
spoil it for you, but it's just, I know it's there, and it's so exciting to me that it is.
Well, I will say I know we're not quite at the end of this review yet, but I didn't know I needed a horror fishing game, and
Me
just hearing you
neither.
talk about it, I'm like, I think I really need to play this.
I played the demo. I think it was earlier this year when Steam, or late last year with the Steam Next Fest, something like that. And I only got to like the first maybe half an hour, which was all daytime fishing, and I was like, okay, I kind of get it. I'm gonna play it, but I didn't really get to the horror part, and that's where this game really shines.
Yeah, it seems like I can see it being a tough game to demo because
Yeah,
you want to give people a taste, but not actually give away like what's happening.
exactly. It was. I think the demo was longer than I played. I just didn't get around to it,
Ah,
and then it
okay.
was taken down. I think. I think it had the quest from the fishmonger to go out at night and catch that first
Okay.
aberration. So, but I just didn't get to it, and I was like, okay, it's nice, but now that I've played it, it's like, no, it's really really good.
You see, I'm sure that this was advertised as like this horror type game. I'm
Yeah.
sure that and I get it. You have to let people know that, but I also really bad want a game to come out one of these days where everyone's like, "This looks awesome, play this," but no one really knows what it's about,
Yeah,
and
I
then
mean
you
that.
get that like surprise shock of like, "Oh, this is a fucked up game."
Yeah, I mean, Doki Doki Literature Club kind of did
Yeah,
that.
yes, that is.
Yeah, and it
I,
also
I
can
want more
go,
of that.
and it also can go very wrong because when I think about Scorn, that game was so mismarketed as
I
something that it was not.
I still never played Scorn.
I have. I really liked the game, but I also knew what it was going in. But if I had played it on the premise of the trailers, I would have been, what the hell is this? And why am I
Yeah,
playing it? So yeah, that can go both ways, I
sure.
guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, and going into the gameplay, speaking of the fishing, that's what you're gonna do most of course. So you're gonna spend a lot of time looking for a little fishing spot, casting your rod, and fish. And that consists every it's a few different mini games, but all of them are timed. Press button X at this specific moment. It's always
Okay.
this. It's
Different
always,
variations
yeah.
of
It has a
timing.
few variations of how it works, but it is also it is always a timing based fishing game.
Do you get does it do the thing where it's like, "Oh, there's fish here cuz there's like little bubbles in the water and
Yeah,
okay." So it's
exactly.
not just like you're running out just casting wherever
No,
you
no, no, no,
want.
no.
Okay.
It has the little, oh, they are you see the bubbles, and they are also like little silhouettes of fish
Okay.
underneath. And you also have a spyglass with which you can find so you can see the shapes that the fish have, which give you a hint of what kind of fish it is if you're looking for a specific one, for example. So yeah, I could have done with a little more variety when it came to the fishing mini games. I thought that got a little tired, especially considering that I played this game for like 10 hours. So yeah, I could have done with a bit more variety. It was still fun. I still had fun doing it, but yeah. But it's also a team of 4 people, so I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I get what you're saying though, where it's a fishing mini games as part of a game are usually just kind of like a fun little
Yeah.
thing to do. But yeah, to have a full game of that,
Mm-hmm.
I could
Exactly.
see I could see if I was playing 10 hours of a fishing mini game in another game, I could definitely see like, all
Yeah, I
right.
mean, it does have other elements too, but yeah, that at like the 5 hour mark, I really felt like, okay, is this all that there is, or
Mhm.
are there other fish that maybe have to be caught differently? But it was just that until the end. um yeah, you also, money wise, you do need money to upgrade your ship, in the beginning, also to pay off debt because your ship crashes and the mayor gives you their ship, so you need to pay that off and stuff.
What a nice mayor.
Animal Crossing vibe.
Yeah, sounds like Tom Nook.
But you build up money very very quickly, so I never had a problem if I spent 1 or 2 days fishing, which in real time was maybe like 10 minutes. uh,
Oh,
i
okay.
I always had enough to get the next upgrade or buy whatever I needed.
Do you
So
get
that was
to
very very quick.
choose do you get to choose like cosmetically anything with the
No,
ship? Okay.
no. Um, you can get you can get better engines, so you can get around faster, which is also very needed because the map is kind of big, and at the beginning your ship is very, very slow. You can get different lights, you can get different rods, as I said, and that's really where that all comes together. Don't only need money for those, you also need different resources. So you need to go around and get some wood out of the water, metals from other shipwrecks and stuff.
Do you just have to like sail over those and then
It's
collect
another
them?
mini game.
Oh, is
Mm-hmm.
it a timing of hitting X?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
It's almost the same as fishing. It works a bit differently. It looks a bit differently, but it's still press X to do thing
Okay,
in a time that is given to you.
yeah.
Yeah. So you need to get those resources, and then it's a matter of what I have heard being described as inventory Tetris. Because all the fish and all the materials have different sizes, so your hull is made up of squares, of a specific set of squares, and then you can fit your little fish in there, and you need to distribute them around to get the max out of the haul that you can get.
How do you feel about that? Because obviously that I when it comes to like weight systems in games with inventory, I hate that. That's annoying. But there's something about like playing a Resident Evil game where that inventory Tetris is kind of part of the experience. Is it
Honestly, I thought I would hate it. I really did, but because you build up money so quickly, at least in my opinion, it wasn't as needed as I thought it was going to be. So I didn't really need to have every little space planned out to get money in. And that I really appreciated that because I have no spatial awareness whatsoever. I'm so bad at those. So I sometimes just chuck those in and was like, okay, I am just going to the fishmonger and then I'm coming back. I don't care right now. But you can really, I have seen people really make use of that system. So if that is something that is fun to you, you can absolutely do it.
okay? Cool. It's good
Yeah.
to know because that I enjoy it in Resident Evil, but can also be stressful once it's getting full because every resource is so important in a game like that.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I don't want to get rid of any of this. I need all of this. It sounds like in this at least, it's like if you miss out on something, it's really not gonna like make or break anything.
No. There are some, you also have a relatively big storage. So you can when you are in a harbor just chuck things in there if you like. I had a lot of times when I just found treasure that I could give to the trader, but he was all the way over there, so I just chucked it into my storage and then continued what I was doing, and at one point just got there and got my money type of stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, let's just say that.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I really, at first I was like, oh no, do I really have to get the best out of the space that I have? And you should. You should.
I mean, sure. Yeah.
But you don't have to.
It's okay if you're not great at that.
Exactly. If you have like 2 or 3 more minutes time, you can just go back and fish again. It's not bad. Yeah, you also have like little research points that you get for quests and stuff. And with those, you unlock new fishing rods because, for example, for the volcano region, you need a fishing rod that is heat resistant. So you need to unlock that first. You also need to unlock engines and different crab pods that can stay in one place longer and are more hardy and attract more crabs and stuff. And yeah, so with that, you can unlock different And all other kinds of very useful stuff. I have to say, I really concentrated only on the fishing rods and engines. Most anything else I didn't care about, honestly. But it worked for me. But I also didn't want to catch every fish. So
Sure.
if you're
Yeah.
into that, then you need to unlock a lot more. Yeah, as I said, you get different quests. The main quest is the one from the collector who says to bring him 5 different relics. And for each relic you bring him, he just gives you magic.
Oh,
Yeah, he just gives you straight up magic.
of course.
The first one is, in my opinion, the most useful one, which is haste, which gives you a speed burst for a specific time until it blows out your engine. If you
I
use
kind
it
of like that explanation for that though, because there's so many games where you get that boost on a boat that don't really make sense, but magic. Now
Yeah,
it makes sense.
I mean, it's an eldritch horror game, so of
Yeah.
course there's magic. You have giant sea creatures, so of course you have magic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and he tells you kind of a oh my god, I cannot think of the word. He gives you a specific order in which you should explore the map.
Okay.
And I would also advise you to heed that. You can explore everything out of order if you want to, but it's definitely the easiest if you go the way the collector sends you.
I mean, it also sounds like if you you can go to other areas, but if it's too early, you won't have like the right rod that you need or a good enough.
Yeah,
engine.
but that's not that big of a problem because those two things aren't necessarily connected. You can unlock every rod relatively early.
Okay.
I would say. So you can get the equipment that you need relatively quickly if you do like little side quests and stuff. And you do a lot of gathering materials, but because that's where you get the research points. But it is just easy because he also gives you the magic that he gives you is often somewhat connected to the creatures that are there and where you can really use the magic because he gives you, as I said, haste and some other protective things.
So you're telling me when you get haste, whatever area in, you're probably running from something.
Maybe.
Gotcha. I think I see what's going on here.
Yeah. You also get, in every area that he sends you to, you get one quest line that you have to do in order to progress, in order to get the relic. You also get different side quests. So different characters, different NPCs on different islands might have other quests to do for them, which usually have to do first with catch me that fish, get me that thing, which I think is pretty logical. But you also
this economy runs on fish.
Yeah, you can also just find a stranded dude on an island somewhere, and you have to take him back to to civilization.
Do they like talk to you during the boat ride?
No. But you have to put him in your inventory. So if your inventory is
Oh,
full,
wow.
you have to come back.
So you find someone stranded, you're just like, jump in the box with all the creepy fish.
Yep, pretty much.
Nice.
You don't have space anywhere else.
What a captain.
Yep, I'm the best captain around. Also, I love that because you play the fisherman, he's never faced by anything because he doesn't talk. So he's just taking it all like, sure.
Another day.
All these operations. Don't know what they are, but I'm gonna sell them.
Yeah, okay. That's kind of in line for a fisherman, though.
Yeah, that's true. It's also in line for this game.
Wasn't there that book? Wasn't it just called The Fisherman? Or no, he was just referred to as the fisherman in the book, and he like barely spoke too.
I think that's a trope, definitely, that they made use of, I would imagine.
Yeah.
The silent fisherman. There are also timed quests. I did not realize they were timed quests, and I failed every single one. So I think there are 5 or maybe 4. If you find a hooded figure on an island that asks you to bring them fish, do it immediately. Do it
Does
immediately.
it doesn't give you any sort of prompt of like,
No, it does
wow.
not. I think that's the one thing that I disliked about the game, because I hate timed quests. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't really like time quests either.
Because that really felt more like a cheap way to get you to play the game again, because I feel like most people will miss at least one of those.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Timed quest for me, it was just always added. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say it's never been done right, but for the most part, it just adds a rushing element to something that I typically don't like to rush through games. I like to take my time and explore.
Especially in an RPG, because this is RPG like, also with
Yeah.
the upgrading system and stuff. And I get why you might want a timed quest, but if you have no indication that it even is a timed quest, and then you come back and it's just, well, you failed. Thanks, game.
Try again next playthrough.
Yeah, and at one point I thought, like, okay, if I don't talk to them again, then maybe the timer doesn't advance or something. Nope. If you started it,
that's it.
That's it. Yeah, I didn't like that. During the nighttime exploration, you have, which is very typical for an eldritch horror game, an insanity meter.
Ah.
Which is indicated by a little eye in yeah, it's a little eye, and it looks around and it turns red very slowly, and it starts rapidly looking around all over the place. It gets really, really, really fun when you get to going real insane.
Do you start like seeing things?
You start seeing things. There are maybe eyes that will just appear all around. You hear whispering. And then also suddenly there might be rocks, just straight up rocks in front of you that are not there during the daytime, but they will still damage your ship.
Oh, what?
Yep.
Not the fake damaging rocks.
Nope. And then maybe you also encounter something.
Ooh.
Real bad.
Ominous.
Yep. It's a super fun way to have this kind of... There is a bit of rush to it in the nighttime.
Yeah.
You need to do everything that you want to do relatively quickly. Otherwise, your boat will get destroyed, because you start seeing so many things.
Is there any, like, here's this drink or this thing that lowers your insanity during the night?
You can sleep. So you have to go into harbor, and you need to sleep, advance time a bit, and then your insanity goes down again.
Okay, but you can, like, keep it nighttime still?
No.
Okay.
Time does advance. I mean, it's not that bad. When it goes really bad is when you encounter, there are like these wisps of like red smoke kind of stuff. If you go into one of that, your insanity meter will shoot up. That's when it gets really, really bad. Otherwise, you can make it through one night without hitting critical mass, so to speak.
Okay.
But if you hit one of those and you're away from harbor, it gets bad. It gets real bad. On top of all the other shit that's already happening.
Yeah. On top of the real bad stuff that's happening. Now you have fake bad stuff.
But it makes also for such a great atmosphere. I love that insanity mechanic in pretty much any Eldritch horror game. If it's implemented well, it's great. And it is very, very well implemented here.
Cool.
Yep. yeah, as I said, go the way the collector tells you because that's the easiest way. Because that happened to me early on. I didn't really pay much attention to what the collector said for one reason or another, and I just started exploring all around, getting all of these quests, and then I was so overwhelmed that I just didn't know what to do next. And then I almost fatigued on the game. And then I was like, I spoke to a friend and he was like, yeah, you should really follow just what the collector told you. You should really go there first. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. And then the game really hit off for me.
Okay.
Because I went to every area and met all the people and stuff, and then I was like, okay, I just have no idea what to do now.
I mean, I do the same exact things with games. If I have the option to do any side stuff before the main thing, I will fully explore whatever area I'm in and do exactly that.
Yeah.
So like I get the urge of like, screw you, collector, I'm gonna go check everything out.
Exactly. I mean, it was fun. It was fun to see everything, but then I really also felt underprepared just for some of the areas, and
Yeah.
I died a few times, and then I was like, okay, I just don't know what to do. And then I went back, and it was like, okay, now I know what to do, and it
Yeah.
felt great. That was a lot of fun. Kind of the same thing happened to the story for me in this, because at first you get like that introductory cutscene where you see the fisherman in his boat, and then you see a newspaper where it's just like, oh, fishermen, we're looking for fishermen, blah blah blah. And then you crash onto some rocks, and then you're immediately in the game where the mayor tells you, oh, you crashed here and now you have this boat, please pay us back. And that's
Yeah,
pretty
that's
much,
very Tom Nook.
yeah. And then you're just thrown into the game, and I just thought, okay, so the story doesn't really matter that much. And I was like, every time I found like a piece of lore, I was like, oh, this is really really creepy, that's fun. But I didn't really think about it all that much. And then the ending hit, and I was like, oh my god, I should have paid so much more attention to the story. That is so cool. Because that tied together a lot of the elements that the game has in music and art, in sound, and then having that really cool story that connected all of the lore points that you find. And I was like, oh no, I missed so much because I didn't pay attention from the beginning, and I didn't really listen to the NPCs and stuff, because there are a few NPCs that talk to you very differently, and I was just like, okay, this is just part of the horror vibe.
They're just weird.
Exactly. I just thought the story in the beginning was just like a bit of tacked on stuff to have something that starts the game. But I was really like, okay, this is a game that lives off of its vibes, and I'm just going to enjoy that stuff without thinking about the story. And I should have, because it's really cool.
I like when games do that though, where you get like the big reveal and it's so big that it has you just completely looking back at like, oh wait, that's
Yeah.
why they were doing. That's why this was this way. It's like,
Yeah.
that's the type of stuff that gets me the closest to replaying games, which I rarely do.
Yep.
But that's, yeah.
Yep. I really I thought I probably would have been able to figure some things out if I had really sat down and be like, okay, maybe this is connected in some way. But I didn't. I just thought, okay, cool, Eldritch Horror, there are a lot of creatures around,
Right.
and I didn't think I was gonna get a reason for why they are here and stuff. So that was really, yeah. So if you do play the game, then do pay attention to everything that you find, because it does have a payoff.
It's every step of the way you've kind of sold me on this game, like more and more.
I'm glad, because it is really good. I think it's a really good game. I gave it An 8 out of 10.
That's a good score.
It is a good score because it is a good game. It's everything that I love about a good indie. It has a very intriguing premise that a AAA studio would never touch with a 10-foot pole.
No, because they,
Um,
I am a sucker for a big budget, like, you know, fun
Yeah.
experience, but they play it so safe, and I get it, but they play it so safe.
so safe. And then you have the art style that really works with this title, which is also not always the case, because if you do have a AAA title, it has to look realistic,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much everything you get then. And indie
Yep.
games really have to think about, okay, how can I convey the feeling that I want to convey with the art that I have? How can I do that?
And I think that that's, you know, we at some point, probably going into like PS4, Xbox One era, when things starts like really look real. That was
Mhm.
impressive at that time of like, look at how crazy real this is. And now, like, I know it's still getting better. I know that you can watch some of like the Unreal Engine stuff they put out, and it's like, it legitimately, you can't
Yeah.
tell what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
But that's not what impresses me anymore. It's how it's really the indie games where they have to come up with a very, I mean, we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
But they're forced to come up with some sort of creative art style that gets their point across, but is not. And I think those are by far, when I think of like best art styles or best looking games of the year, I'm thinking of those and not
Yep.
like, look at
Yep.
how real this looked though.
Yep. That's the same for me. I mean, the pitfall of that is, of course, if indie games try to go for realism, they will always be behind.
Yeah.
I kind of had that with Deliver Us Mars. I really, really love that game, but since it uses a real art graphic style, you can tell that it's not the newest tech. And that then takes away a bit from the experience, because your brain knows that there is stuff out there that looks just so much better
Right.
with that style. But as you said, when I think about the best art styles, it's never a AAA title.
No.
It never is. It's always something stylistic that's done really well in one specific style. Yep.
Completely agree.
Yep. So, definite recommend on Dredge. I think most people have caught up at this point, but yeah, go play it. It's really fun. And we also asked people what their favorite fishing minigame is. Now we get to talk about it, Dylan. And Dave from Tales from the Backlog, the podcast, at TFTBLpod on Twitter, said Red Dead Redemption 2. That had a really fun fishing game.
I did not play Red Dead 2.
It had much more, like the whole game, a much more realistic approach to fishing, where you really had to pull the rod one way or the other and then reel and pull again. Yeah. What's your favorite?
I was thinking about this. I feel like I've played a lot, but none actually stay memorable to me. If that makes sense. Like,
yeah, it does.
Like, I read like a Dragonetian I did recently that had a fishing mini game that was straight up the ones from the Oxa games, and it's like it's fun. It's a fun distraction, but when I think of like good mini games from the series, that's certainly not it. For whatever reason, the one that's always stuck with me is Final Fantasy 15.
I don't know that one.
I remember, I mean, it's been a few years at this point, and my brain is not good with hanging on to memories, so I couldn't break it down for you. But that one, I remember being more in depth than just a typical one, and had like a whole big quest line associated with it.
Of course it does. It's Final Fantasy. Of course it does.
That's, my gut tells me Final Fantasy 15.
All right. Mine is Stardew Valley. I love that fishing minigame.
I've never played Stardew Valley.
You never played Stardew Valley?
No.
What?
No, I haven't.
Who are you?
Listen.
What is happening right now? What alternate reality have I
when I think of Stardew Valley, and then this is going to be a terrible excuse because I put like 2 months into Animal Crossing when that came out. But when I think of Stardew Valley, I always look at it as I would definitely enjoy that. I don't have time for that.
That's fair.
that's
It is fair.
that's where I've always landed with it. But I have had a few moments of I should just play it.
Yeah, I mean, I have never finished Stardew Valley. I don't think I've ever gotten into year 3 even. I think year 2 is always where I stopped, because then you're already like 25 hours in, and I'm like, I can't anymore. But yeah, that fishing mini game, that gave me carpal tunnel, so I played that one a lot. Yep.
So is it like a lot of like mashing, or is it?
So you have like this, you have a meter, and in this meter is a tiny little rectangle, and the fish like has its own icon, and it's going up and down, and you need to keep the fish in the rectangle.
Okay, I know.
And then you have to press on the mouse button and stuff, and then it very slowly.
Yep.
I
know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. And that gave me carpal tunnel, but I love that game. I think like for a week or something, I did nothing but fish.
Who needs to farm when you can fish?
Exactly. That's the mini game that always comes to my mind when it comes to fishing.
That makes sense. It would make sense that they would have something good for Stardew Valley.
Yeah. Stardew Valley, all around the gameplay loop was pretty good. But getting money in that game was a freaking chore, and that's why I prefer something like Dredge.
Sometimes simple can be better.
Yes. And then we also had the Remember 64 podcast write in, Remember 64 show on Instagram. And they said, I just wanted to add that Dredge is awesome. Just finished it myself. And it is awesome, I agree.
I'm going to take that as they're calling Dredge the best fishing minigame.
Exactly. They just have no other opinion now.
Yeah, it's just Dredge.
That's your own fault for not giving us another game.
We're assigning it for you.
And that's it from me from this week. That was Dredge. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening to me rant about an Eldritch fishing game that you didn't know you needed in your life.
Listen, Lyle, it's very you to go through this whole episode and like you did it all and then be like, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for doing it, Lyle.
I mean, yeah.
Now let's do some notable game releases. Do you want to just go back and forth on these?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Because I think half of these you don't even know what they are.
No, I don't. I'll start it off because I know the first one. Mm-hmm. Minecraft Legends is coming out on April 18th on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series S and X, Xbox One, and Switch. So just about everything. That I'm intrigued by.
I've never played Minecraft. We've had this conversation before, I think. Yeah.
It's different. This is like a top-down, like you're controlling units, almost like a strategy game.
Oh.
It looks interesting and different. But that's kind of what Minecraft Dungeons was like the Diablo of Minecraft. They seem to just be putting out these.
Yeah, they're just doing the Marvel thing of just trying it all. Trying all genres.
Minecraft is Marvel.
I think
Steve is Iron Man.
Final Fantasy does that too. It has a lot of different genres.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we have The Mage Seeker, a League of Legends story, also coming out on April 18th for PC, Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series X and S. This is an action RPG, I think.
Have you played any of those League of Legends? No. So, yeah. Me either. I've never played League, so I don't know the characters.
Me
But I remember a
neither.
few years ago when they were like, we're going to be putting out these like different styles of games around the characters from League. I was like, that's cool. I would check those out. And then I never did.
Have you watched what's it called? Arcane?
Kane?
Isn't that what it's called? Like the animated series? Wasn't that from League of
Oh.
Legends as well?
Maybe. Wow.
I thought so.
When I think of Kane, I think of the wrestler.
Arcane.
Arcane. That's not
Isn't
Kane.
that called Arcane? I don't
Maybe.
remember.
We're on the case.
It was, yes. And that's
All right.
it's a League of Legends thing, right? Yes, it is. Okay, I was right.
So
From
it's
the
not
beginning.
Kane the wrestler?
No, it's not. I'm sorry.
He kind of sucks anyway.
I mean, wrestling has like a whole bunch of TV shows centered around it, though, doesn't it?
I mean, if you really want to break it down, wrestling is just a TV show.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And then you have the different leagues and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. If
Yeah.
different companies, and each company has multiple shows.
See? There's a whole universe.
You have, listen, if you really wanted to, you easily have 10 to 20 hours of wrestling a week.
Oh, God.
Easily.
That's like watching all the Star Wars series. It's not fun anymore.
It's But it is. It's an addiction. You can't stop it. All right. God of Rock is coming out on April 18th. Big day, April 18th.
Oh, yeah.
To PC, Nintendo Switch, PS4, and 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S.
I
is
put this on here for you.
When I saw God of Rock, I was hoping that is where this was going.
Yep. This is a fighter game,
Okay.
but it's Rock Band.
Okay.
So you do damage when you hit the notes.
Yep, I'm actually going to go ahead and Google that right now, so I have it up for when we're done recording, so I know what to add to my list.
Nice. Very good.
That sounds extremely up my alley.
Yes, that's why I put it on here. When I saw it, I thought this is for Dylan.
Yes.
All right, and next up we have Survival Fountain of Youth, which is going into early access on April 19th for PC, PS5, X, and Xbox Series X and S. So it's not on the old consoles, only on the new ones.
We're starting to see that transition happen now.
Yeah, for some, definitely. This is a survival game with the twist that it plays in the 16th century, I think. So, from my knowledge, not something that has been done before. I am looking forward to this one. I know with whom I'm going to play this once it comes out of early access, so whee!
Early access and survival games, like, I get it. But I also, if I'm jumping into a survival game and putting that time in, I want to be able to, like, see the whole thing, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I got sucked into Sons of the Forest earlier this year. And I mean, that game was very far in development because that was released on the day when they initially wanted to release it fully. And then later they said, we are going into early access. So it was very far along, definitely more than the Forest. But I get it.
Yeah.
I want to make this a point to wait until they're out of early access at this point.
All right. Horizon Forbidden West, the Burning Shores DLC is coming out on April 19th for only PS5.
Because PlayStation got a PlayStation.
You know how it be.
Have you played Forbidden West?
Yeah.
You're not going to play the DLC, are you?
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Dave and I both are in agreement with it, where, I mean, we have a couple of reasons. First off, for whatever reason, Aloy's just not, we don't like her. In the second one, she's kind of a jerk to everyone for some reason.
I already didn't like her in the first game. I love Ashley Burch, but I never liked Aloy.
So she just becomes so arrogant. Like, and I hate it. But then also, I don't know what it is. Like, I really like Zero Dawn, but something about like Forbidden West was like just boring to me. It
Yeah,
wasn't.
maybe it was too much of the same. I
It could.
think.
It could have been. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But to switch it up, we have Tin Hearts coming out on April 20th for the Switch, and then I think in May, early in May, it also comes out for PC. And this is kind of like if you know the Lemmings games from like the 90s, that's kind of what this is. So there are these tin men, and you have to manipulate the environment around them to get them to a specific goal in each level.
Okay.
Mhm.
Interesting.
It's very cute. I want to try that definitely.
Oh boy.
I also don't know. I think it's Erisys.
Erisys. Yeah, that. Yeah, Erisys. We'll go with that. That's coming out in early access, also on April 20th for PC.
And this is a eldritch horror game, co-op game, kind
Ooh.
of like Phasmophobia, but like with eldritch horror elements. It
Ooh.
looks very cool, very intriguing,
Ooh, I'm
very
gonna open up
spooky.
a tab of that too. That sounds cool.
I'm showing you so many games.
You are.
And then we have Coffee Talk, Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly, also coming out on April 20th for PC, Mac. Why do I always say Max? Why do I do that?
It's coming out on all these platforms, and this dude Max over here.
Nintendo Switch, PS4 and 5, and Xbox One. Yeah, Coffee Talk. If you've played the first episode, you know what to expect. Make great coffee art, which I cannot. I'm just there for the visual novel. I'm bad at art.
Hey, I'm right there with you. I get it. All right. Also, April 20th is OTXO coming on PC.
This is Hotline Miami.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, just
I know
different.
exactly what it is then.
Yeah, just with a different art style.
Sure.
But it is that gameplay.
Yeah.
And then April 21st, Dead Island 2, coming for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. Let's see if this is actually good.
I hope so. I hope so. We have that episode in a couple weeks coming out on that, so yeah. Keep your
Dave
eyes
is gonna
peeled.
tell us all about it.
Dave really liked that first Dead Island, so I'm interested.
Played it.
I've played it briefly co-op, like kind of recently. Yeah, it didn't hold up the best, but I think that's, we've had better variations of that type of game since that initially came out. So I'm interested. It's co-op, so I'll play it.
Yeah.
And then, last but not least, is Mia and the Dragon Princess on the 21st of April, coming to PC, Mac, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S.
And this is an FMV choose your own adventure game.
Not what I thought that would be, but cool.
I also don't know if this has supernatural elements because it doesn't look it from the trailer. Because the name sounds kind of like...
It sounds like...
fantastical.
It sounds very fantasy.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, no, looking up even just images of it is not what I was expecting.
Yep. I don't know. The name feels wrong.
I'm sure there will be something.
There will be something. And that's it. That
All
was
right.
a lot.
A lot of releases this week.
Yeah. Indies are taking over, I tell you.
I agree. It feels like more and more every year my top 10 list at the end.
Yeah.
More indies than the previous year.
I played so many already this year, and it's gonna get even more.
We're not even halfway there.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, everyone,
Thank
for
you
listening.
Go play Dredge.
I will. I want to now. That is also going right on the list.
Very good. I
Hopefully
converted
next
you.
week. Hopefully next week we can have all three of us again. We'll
That
see
would be
what
amazing.
comes our way. But as always,
Chaos.
we will try for all three of us. Next week,
Chaos.
Crime Boss Rocket City.
That
We hope
is
to
gonna be
see you then.
chaos.
That probably will be chaos. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Lyle.
Thank you, Dylan.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.